Welcome to The Last Mile, where Olga Mack and John Lindsay share how to get legal and sales to stop fighting and start closing clean.
Welcome, everybody, back to episode 2 of Olga Mack and John Lindsay's series called The Last Mile. And episode 2, we're going to cover today the hidden cost of contract friction. So welcome back. I am John, and I'm a former sales leader, maybe reformed sales leader even, who's lived through the pain of watching a buyer tell me yes, and then I still lose the deal weeks later. Olga, talk to me.
Yes, and I'm Olga Mack, CEO of Termscout, lawyer, and a firm believer that contracts should accelerate growth. Heck, they should accelerate the world and not quietly kill the deals.
No, amen. And that's what it's all about. And again, you use this word all the time. This is contract clarity. It's where sales and legal stop blaming each other, right? They got to get along like you and I, right? Where they start fixing what's broken in that relationship, Olga.
Yeah, that partnership between sales and legal is very important. It has built my career. And today's topic is very important. It's about contract friction, what it is, what it's costing you, and most importantly, unless you are into self-inflicting pain, how do you eliminate it with real systems and, away from vague slogans?
Yeah, well, let's define it a little bit and say that, what is it? Contract friction, every unnecessary delay, misalignment, inefficiency that happens after, keyword after, the buyer says yes. It's that drag between the verbal agreement and the signed agreement. And that drag, man, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it is expensive. It includes things like version control chaos, unclear ownership, reactive legal involvement, over redlining, approval bottlenecks, mismanaged expectations. I can go on for a long time, but I think you got the point.
Yeah, and it has sales chasing its tail, right? We're spending all that time chasing status updates instead of building the pipeline. And legal really is spending their time rewriting clauses that quite frankly should have been standardized.
Yeah, and because no one owns the space explicitly, intentionally, it becomes a no man's dead zone. Most companies don't track. They don't optimize it. They don't even talk about it. You can't, friends, fix things that you don't talk about. You can't fix things that are not measured. You can't fix unless you explicitly acknowledge that you have a problem. And that means that sales and legal must talk.
No, that's a great point. And look, let's talk about how we quantify that, right? Because we got to do that with numbers. So let's say that the average deal size on a deal that we're doing is $75,000. If the contract friction delays on even 3 deals per rep per quarter, and that's conservative, that's nearly $1 million in delayed or lost revenue per 10-person team, Olga.
Yeah, and let's be practical here. At Termscout, when we audit a deal, we see, for example, things like, clauses can add 7 to 14 unnecessary days. And that's on a good day. You see quarter end misses due to legal reviews, and that actually could have been avoided. Not all legal reviews could be avoided, but many can. And then you see things like buyer churn after lengthy contract delays. Buyers get tired. They may rethink whether they need the purchase altogether. They may hack together a solution at home. They can find another alternative. The world is infinite, and they are folks with money who are ready to buy. And then, of course, sales velocity slows down. And and all of that is a bummer. It's yes, will affect your revenue numbers. Of course, they will be lower than they should be. And morale. The cost of morale is really, really high. I say that your sales leader or your sales contributor, when they're not motivated, when their morale is down, it's actually worse than the fact that you're losing money, because they will affect the team and your entire momentum, your entire ability to perform commercially will be affected.
No, it's a great point. Okay. And it's not just the time we're losing either, right? There's opportunities being lost as well, right? The deal that drags, right? It invites people to reevaluate it, right? You bring in more people in, right? They're looking at it. There's a lot of stakeholders involved. They've got objections. There's absolutely a chance that a competitor could slide in with faster paper and swipe that deal right out from under you.
Yeah, so now let's look beyond sort of the spreadsheets and the numbers, as important as may be. As a CEO, I truly appreciate my revenue numbers, but contract friction erodes so much more than just your revenue. It erodes buyers' trust, and frankly, it sort of takes a stab at your brand and the way you're seen in the marketplace. It signals internal disorganization, disengagement, risk aversion, frankly, just not enough engagement. And who wants to have a partner who is disorganized, disengaged, and doesn't know how to handle risks? And then it also breaks down trust. And that's a real bummer because we are going through a lot of transformation like AI, political things, tariffs, and you really want to do business with people you trust. People that you can't call up and work through things that you didn't expect to work with and to work through as well. And that is very important. Trust is what today is the one unspoken thing that closes deals, that helps you have relationship and work through the turbulence, whether it's commercial, political, economic, personal, whatever it may be. Disruption is almost certain in every business in the next 6 to 12 months. And it harms brand experience. Every contract is not just a piece of paper. It's a signal to the market about how easy or painful dealing with you is. If you think your contract can signal pain and then your product can signal joy, that does not exist in nature. If your product, if your contract signals pain, people will assume, rightfully will assume, that your product will also signal pain, and dealing with you will be even more of a pain because contract where people assume you're on your best behavior. So if your best behavior is painful, let me imagine the worst, and then I will quickly look for an exit sign and alternative.
No, it's a great point. And we've said it. In fact, we say it in a book that we co-authored, that friction isn't just a legal problem, Olga. It's a sales, not just sales either. It's not just a sales problem either. It's a revenue problem, right? And the only way we're ever going to solve this is through shared ownership, right? Both sides of the table, they got to own it.
Yeah. So let's talk about fixes. Let's get really specific. And I want to talk about sort of 5 steps companies can take in the next 30 days to really start reducing their contract friction. First of all, you need to track contract cycle time. Not just your deal cycle, but your contract from intake to signature, by deal type, by RAB, by paper use, benchmark it quarterly. You really need to have numbers on it. 2, you really start to use certified contracts. Not for everything, but for things like you sell, for example, to medium and small businesses that it's not economic for you to negotiate. You pre-certify contracts, you close them faster, you maybe give a little bit more favorable position to the other side, but the savings of negotiations are so great. The trust you build will give you ROI for years to come. And of course, you'll get to your revenue much faster. So Termscout Certify validates clauses for fairness using market data. It's a good way to certify. It signals that a third party gave you an objective evaluation of your contract. 3, tier your review workflows. Not every deal needs to have a legal review. As exciting as it may be to put your, bar license to work and review everything, or even if you're a contract administrator and you don't have a bar membership, as exciting as it may be to redline it from the beginning to the end, contain yourself. Really try to contain yourself and curb that enthusiasm. Figure out how you can get more with less effort. Those auto approvals are important. The templates, fallback positions are important. Strategic customized reviews are important. And then, of course, what you're not reviewing is what we help you with Certify, is what you're not reviewing and where you direct your attention. 4, implement legal intake forms. You standardize what sale provides. Deal size, counterparty, urgency, terms used, known red flags. Integrate into CRM. Integrate with our friends at CLM. Those integrations will help you quite a lot. And then, I know, John, it's a long list, but I do have a number 5, so I know if you're ready for it. But yes, you need to establish shared KPIs. Not just legal KPIs and not just sales KPIs. Remember, you cannot fix the problem with your partner, whether it's your love partner or your business partner or your sales legal partnership. You cannot fix the problem unless you have shared KPIs. And sales and legal co-own that contract. They are married together for the purposes of getting to revenue. Average contract cycle time, boom, it needs to be tracked. Percentage of deals closed on certified paper, boom, that needs to be tracked. First pass approval rate and what you don't negotiate, boom, that needs to be passed. You talk about it, you stay disciplined, you hold each other accountable. Guess what? In the process, your sales legal marriage will thrive.
No, that's you hit it on the head, and I think this is your quote, Olga. Friction dies when sales and legal share the same scoreboard, right? You're on the same team. You got to be playing off the same sheet of music, and when you do that, it's harmony, right? I mean, that's exactly what it is. And so, let's wrap it up and talk a little bit about the fact that contract friction, as you defined it, it's not just a nuisance; it's a growth blocker, and it's one of the few things that's absolutely fully in your control. You can fix it.
Yes, you absolutely can fix it. And I want to emphasize no heroic effort needed. If you find yourself that you like swooping in on the white or black horse, whichever horse you like, and you have to do this, or if you like giraffes or donkeys, whatever your vehicle of choice, if you have to like swoop in and save the day, you are not doing it right. It is not about heroism. It's about boring, repeated process. You need to have a repeatable process, aligned incentive, better data, structured conversations, on topic, regularly, the kind of stuff Termscout provides with certified product.
No, I love it. And boom, you hit it on the head, right? Everyone wants to close faster, right? We want to reduce the escalations. We want to stop buyers from stalling in that final mile. If you want to do those things, then we both recommend head over termscout.com and learn more about Certify, the product. I'm telling you, it's exactly what Olga just said. It's boring and repeatable, but you know what it is? It's effective.
And you won't need a horse or giraffe or a donkey. And in our next episode, we're going to talk about diagnosing the dysfunction between sales and legal, what each side assumes, misunderstands, and how to fix it with data and empathy and patience, because in the end, patience is love.
Isn't a doubt about it. We're like Dr. Phil for bringing sales and legal together, Olga. Thank you all for tuning in and watching Contract Clarity on our last mile. Listen, so go to subscribe, share it with other people because they're going to love us too. And we will see you next time with fewer red lines and a faster path to close one. Bring it on.